solar is phenomenal if you're the perfect candidate. That's all I'll say. Like roofing, everybody has a roof. You're going to need a roof. You're going to have a problem with the roof. You're going to need quality install, whatever. But when it comes to solar, you have to take a step back and really run the numbers to see, like, am I really making an impact financially for this individual?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Growth House Podcast. I'm here with my guy, Colt Moncla, and we'll get into the background because people want to know, like, how do you connect with so many amazing people? And it's a fun story because, I shot him in the face. We're talking about paintball, and we'll talk about how we got connected. But first, before we go into that, I want to give just a little background on who this is that you're listening to right now or watching if it's on YouTube. So Colt Moncla, he's a founder and owner of Cool Roofs and Cool Solar, a leading roofing and solar company serving the entire state of Texas, Tennessee, and opening New Mexico, Oklahoma, Arkansas. So we're not talking just local, we're talking nationwide, expanding. With over 10 years of experience in the roofing industry, Colt has built a company that's consistently delivered high quality service and innovation. Cool Roofs and Solar now generates 8 figures annually. And is he like 65? No, Colt, if you're looking at this on YouTube, this guy's 31 years old, remains deeply passionate about roofing and solar, dedicating himself to expanding his business and continuing to make an impact in the communities he serves. Colt, welcome to the podcast, my man.
Man, grateful to be here. Don't you love ChatGPT? Just drum that up about myself.
So just give you a little bio. Dude, it's great. I love it. And
Gotta put it in there, man. Thank you for having me. This is super exciting. As I said, I don't do this all the time, but this is just so cool, man. Thank you for having me on the show.
Absolutely. And we like to give people a background. Our motto is you become who you surround yourself with. So, as a person that's growth-minded, that's who our audience is. And everyone always asks, like, Jesse, how do you get connected with so many amazing people? And I think it's really just being intentional, right? 100%. Intentionally being like making friends with people who are successful, who you vibe with, who you like, and also just asking other people. So I'll tell you this, and you probably don't even know this. After I did a podcast with Cody Barton, friend of ours, I said, give me like 1 to 2 people who you just really, really like and you respect their business and they're crushing it. He's like, my man, Colt. You'll meet him at my, bachelor party, which we went paintballing. That's where I shot you in the face. Yep. But he's like, you're gonna love Colt. You're gonna connect. And then our mutual friend through Cody, also Luke, is like, you gotta have Colt on your podcast. So Colt, you're highly recommended, my man.
Dude, I love it. Cody Barton actually changed my life. He's the one who got me into network marketing in 2012. So, man, watching his growth, I mean, I bet he's done a podcast with you. He's an unbelievable individual. I love that guy. Same with Luke, man. Luke's incredible.
Great guys. And there's a quote that we kind of have besides you become who you surround yourself with. And it's nothing is random when you live intentionally. So true. And before we even dive deeper into this podcast, I want you to show the people who are looking on YouTube watching this, you have an amazing painting behind you. Just kind of describe what that painting is.
Oh, for sure, man. So this painting behind me, I actually had a good buddy do for me. And some I've met in the painting, some I haven't, but each individual, which I'll go through, it's Tony Robbins, Jim Rohn, my dad, myself, Bob Proctor, and Les Brown. And so the thing about it, why I love it, it's behind me in my office, is, in Think and Grow Rich, they talk about really visualizing and having your counsel. And so when I'm working through things, I always really like to be very responsive versus being reactive. And when I'm ever going through a challenging problem and whatnot, I get to see, my father, I get to see the people who really impacted my life through their teachings. And I just always think to myself, I take a step back before responding or, before reacting and just think like, how would they solve this particular situation? Like, how would they look at this? And it really just keeps me going and driven. And then it's cool, like, all of our reps and everyone, when they're in here, like new reps and whatnot, they look at that and they're like, who the heck are these people? Or they're like, is that Tony Robbins? So it really like starts cool conversations to know like what people know about personal development or not. But man, the true GOAT is my father. My father actually just sold his company. He's my mentor. He's an unbelievable individual. So he's the one who really drives me. He introduced me to all of that personal development. The first book was Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and then Earl Nightingale and so on and so forth. But yeah, man, we had a family company, 105 years old. My great grandfather started it. My dad just let it go because, what's better than pickleball at 62 years old? That's all he wants to do now. So, but yeah,
I
man,
love it, man.
that's my counsel that just fires me up seeing that painting every day.
That's so cool. And fill me in. What does your dad do? What did he end up selling? What kind of business?
Yeah, so he it first started as one of the first air conditioned restaurants in Texas, where my great grandfather started it. And then my grandfather brought it into catering. Then my dad brought it into mass catering, where he was building these base camps for like FEMA, different National Guard organizations, and whatnot during all the hurricanes, the oil spills. I'm originally from Beaumont, Texas, so that's kind of on the coast of Louisiana. And then he started building base camps for oil companies, sold that company, but kept Moncla's going. And then he created a vision knowing that, man, catering is difficult. And when COVID happened, he's like, we have to make a change. And so he created these things called it was called Moncla Marts, my last name Moncla. And it was self-checkout convenience stores. Within Beaumont, there's all these chemical plants. They're massive, 10,000, 5,000, 8,000 employees. And a lot of them are like in the swamp. They're in the middle of nowhere. So he turned his full commissary for something that would do like mass catering, like 5,000 people, 10,000 people. I mean, bro, those base camps that he did were feeding 3,000 people 4 times a day, like in different shifts. It was just crazy. Well, he took it down and assembly lined it and made all these fresh food products to put in these self-checkout convenience stores in the chemical plants. And man, they had like 300 plus, and right person came and he's like, you know what, pickleball or business, and now he's a pickleball fool. So
I love it. You play pickleball too?
dude, he smokes me. But yeah, I've been playing. I mean, we played
There's
at Cody's bachelor party. Luke Hessler will watch this and be like, dude, I smoked them too. So,
there's actually a big league down there called the Founders League. Have you heard of it?
here in Austin?
Yeah.
No, really. I'll
I'm a
tell
part
my
of
dad.
it. I'm a part of it in Scottsdale, and it's like demographic is like it's all founders, and it's from like people that are 30 to 65, 70. So it's I'm like, you got to get connected with that league. You'll love it.
Dude, it's crazy up here. There's so much pickleball activity. But yeah, my dad actually just built a house up here because his neighborhood has like 36 courts. It's insane, dude. Talk about something that just went from something to just out of this world. So, but
That's
yeah.
awesome. Well, fill me in, man. You mentioned Cody. And Cody changed your life and had a big impact on you. Obviously, you had your dad's influence just growing up around, entrepreneurial environment. But then sounds like you got into multi-level marketing to kind of kick the entrepreneur journey off.
Yeah, dude, I was a Vima guy.
There we go.
As you don't know, Vima, Verve, the YPR movement. It's where I met all my best friends, from Alex Morton to Luke Hessler to Cody Barton, Mike Cetera. The list goes on. And like you said, man, it's all about surrounding yourself with people who are just go-getters, achievers, who can just really support each other rather than tear down. And so what I loved about Vima is it really attracted some like really like-minded individuals that is who I want to surround myself with. And so getting into Vima, I was actually in a fraternity. I was broke. One of my friends raised his hand, said, I've got this like energy drink thing. This was in 2012. And I was the only person that showed up to his house, and he had his computer open. And this one we had Uvu. Like, this is crazy. I didn't even know this podcast thing exists. This is so cool. But Uvu, I didn't know what that was. And now we have Zoom and different things. But Uvu was like the OG Zoom of the time. And there was this guy by the name of Cody Barton on there who was like, I think 17, maybe 18, walking around his house telling me he's in this thing doing this, making money, changed his mom's life, has a BMW. And I'm like, shit, like sign me up. So, yeah, man, did network marketing for a while, built a huge team. I was one of Cody's largest organizations based off his leadership and just who he was as a mentor. 100% owe it to him. Traveled the world, went to Australia, had a blast. And then kind of what Jim Rohn says, came back, a little too much month at the end of the money once Vima passed, and called my dad. I said, dude, I don't know what I need to do. Like, I don't want to go get a job. I've got this car I shouldn't have now that the money's gone. What do I do? And my dad said, you know what I want you to do? He goes, you need to go do door-to-door sales. He's like, I really want you to get out of your comfort zone and understand how to handle objections for people who obviously don't want to talk to you. I was like, crap, sounds good. So I went and I worked for a roofing company at the time. And so one opportunity didn't go. It went great, Didn't fail. I learned everything but my best friends. It changed my life. It was a huge success, which was Vima. Then I went to this company and worked, built an organization. I was in college still, took all my fraternity friends in. I built a team with them. We went door knocking, and then the guy didn't know how to manage funds. As you hear this, it's the tales all the time. Like people, there's so many facets within business, and his just wasn't really managing. Started to rob Peter to pay Paul, and the next thing you know, the last person is going to get paid as the sales rep. So showed up one day, and the doors were shut, and he's like, look, man, I just can't afford to pay you any of your commission. So then again, too much month at the end of the money. And I'm like, man, I've learned so much from this. This is great. But what am I going to do as my next step? And so then at that point, in about 2016 going into 2017, I started Cool Roofs. And the reason being is because I really have a fascination for the commercial roofing sector, which we do a lot in. And Cool Roofs just really coined well with like the new energy efficiencies that are coming, white reflective roof systems, TPOs, coatings, and whatnot. So, man, we started rocking and rolling, and I can tell a little bit more, but that's kind of how I got into the roofing industry itself.
Dude, I love this story. And it sounds like the fraternity kind of helped with kind of having that association when you're, young, of you're finding people in the fraternity that are like-minded. Like there's ways to get around it besides going to meetups and, paying for mentorship. So I think someone listening to this early, like there's people around you, and it's just being intentional and finding those right people. And obviously it's fun when you have a vehicle that you can go door knock or, do an MLM together, because at the end of the day, man, I was in Amway for a while, and I'm like, that was my gateway drug, man.
Network marketing changed my life. It just puts you in a place to understand, like, man, networking is everything. Having the ability to go network with individuals and just ask questions. So, dude, 100%.
And it's funny because you even mentioned door to door, and then my next job, well, actually, while I was doing the MLM, I also was selling copiers. So I was going door to door, but for businesses. Wow. And so, yeah, I just feel like that's a skill set that is so underlooked, especially when you're starting out. And I'll ask you this because I tell everyone in college or even high school, if you can, go get a job where you have to get rejected all the time 100%. And do it in sales. So going back, if you were going to give, like, let's say your son, if you had a son is going through high school and about to go to college, and he's like, Dad, I want to start making money. What should my first job be? What would you recommend besides working for you?
Yeah, there's so many things that I would tell my 20-year-old self. There's a cool video on my Instagram that my marketing team made that talks about, like, when you're in your 20s, you got like 5 to 10 golden years just to give it all you got. And at the end of the day, it goes back to me as a 20-year-old. And I'm like fired up in the car saying, like, you don't understand. Like, I'm telling you, you got to work hard right now. This is the golden years. Like, give it all you got. And now it's kind of emotional. And then it fast forwards to this huge room of all of our sales reps. And I'm like, golly, we all start somewhere. But the biggest thing that I learned, there's 2 things that I'll really touch on. Number one is understanding that the value that you become of what it is that you bring to the marketplace is what determines the reward. And so really Instagram does a phenomenal job of creating these gaps that these people, these crypto millionaires, all this crap that's out there. It takes time to build a phenomenal foundation to create the ultimate success. You can see it. I have so many friends that have gone out and done this huge success curve, but then right back at bottom because they weren't the proper individual to respect it once they got up there. And so what I tell people is don't go in to opportunities with the understanding of I want to get rich, I want to get rich, I want to get rich. The way to get rich, you can do that. But if you want to get wealthy, it's what can I learn to understand who I can become, to understand what I can bring to the marketplace and answer any questions. All of our guys, we talk about this all the time. When we're in roofing, we have problems that we solve. So we're solution-oriented driven sales reps. So we always just look at, hey, what's a solution here? And we learn throughout the process. Because my top sales reps who do multiple millions a year in sales, those individuals have been doing this for a while, creating that value in themselves to bring to the marketplace. And the second thing that I would tell people, so first and foremost, enjoy the journey. You can compress these time frames by finding a mentor, by working with individuals, asking the right questions, but don't be an asshole. Don't ask all these questions and not go do it. That's one thing I learned. If you really see someone who has the results, be look, I want to commit. Most people, they're motivated. Great, you're motivated. I don't work with motivated people. I work with committed people. Once I know that you're committed, dude, I'll give you all the answers. I'll give you all the time. But the leadership that I provide, it's not a travel agent leadership. I'm not going to tell you what to do, how to do it. I've never done it before. We preach tour guide leadership here. Yo, if I'm going to tell you something, I've done it before. I still do it. I know the ins, I know the outs, and I know the success. So that's like the big thing that I would tell people is if you're going to work with someone, make sure that you're working with a tour guide type leader who wants to really show you the ropes. And then another thing that I'll talk about is focus. And y'all have all heard the acronym follow one course until success. It's a double-edged sword here where I'll just tell you, I wish I would have fully focused on roofing because we'd be light years ahead where we are today. But once I got into this, I had this like mindset through like Instagram that like the more things you did, the more that you like, oh, I do this, I do that, I do all this. You think you feel this fulfillment, but there's no fulfillment there. The fulfillment is like building one amazing company that just crushes it, cash flows, people are making money, like all that. So what I'm getting into is, dude, I got into med spas, huge fail, met some amazing people, changed my dad's life from the doctors we met. So there's positives in things. But dude, it's so true. If I'm young and 20, I would find one specific industry that I'm like, wait a minute, there's money in this. There's a problem. I can derive solutions. If I can do it to one, I can do it to 100, 100 to 1,000, 1,000 to a million. I'm just going to go all in on this and become the best of the best of the best. But I'm also never going to, like we were talking about before this, Kevin Trudeau says you're never going to get it. You always have to be getting it. So like find an industry that you're constantly growing in and finding peers. Like, dude, after this call, I've got a John Maxwell coach call with my coach I pay for every year for an hour and a half. So I know how to be a better leader with my guys. Like always just finding peers that can teach you to become better. Just invest in it, pour into it, and just focus on becoming that best person. And then the marketplace will reward you. There's no smoke and mirrors and whatnot. Like that's the wealth of it. So I just threw a lot at you, but stuff fires me up. So
Colt, this is so good. And you took it so many different places that I wanted to go. And you do this. Stop lying. Stop acting like you don't do podcasts, man, because I got to get you on more. You're dropping so much wisdom and so much game right now. And what I want to kind of talk about, you mentioned, Instagram, and there's these gaps that people see. Okay, you start your business. All of a sudden you're at 6 figures. All of a sudden you're a millionaire 12 months later. Let's demystify some of those things because I think you're a perfect person to kind of talk about that and talk to the experiences that you've had in your life. So you start Cool Roofing.
Yeah.
You're not thinking, or actually you might be thinking, I want to be a jack of all trades. I want this whole seven with different ways of passive income to become a millionaire. Like walk me through that process of starting Cool Roofing. And then when you actually started getting success, and then when you actually started then saying, oh, now I want to do solar, med spas, etc.
Yeah. I mean, so for instance, the allocation of focus that I understood that, like my buddy Alex Morton always talked about it. And golly, we know he focused on one thing and just knocked it out of the park. So proud of him. But it finally woke up where, man, like it was just like hustle all the time. I'm a hustler. I'm doing this. And then I like took a step back. I'm like, dude, this is exhausting. Like I think it was my dad introduced me to someone, man, I don't remember who it was, but someone sat down and was like, you're rich when you have time. And you'll realize this. Like, dude, I've traveled nonstop this year because I understand the power of systems and processes, putting people in place, growing this thing to give me time. Dude, I'd rather have all this time in the world to spend with my beautiful fiance, my family, and everything than just being so focused on building. So that's really when it hit me. I'm like, I'm not really making a lot of money with this. I'm spreading myself thin. I'm having a lot of issues here, and here. Every company is a problem solution type thing. So why not just focus on one company, a ton of problems, and just always derive solutions, learn from them to then eliminate all the problems. So I think your question was like, I know I kind of went on a tangent there, but it just was a day I woke up and I was like, dude, I'm tired of this. And so 17, we started roofing. We kept doing roofing while I was trying to do a lot of other things. And then finally, I was like, I'm burning the ships. I'm focusing on this. And not only did I find problems within the industry of like my consumer base, but I built this platform called Cool Roofs. And when we really skyrocketed was about 4 years ago, right after COVID kind of went through. So like 2021, we're going to 25. So yeah, 4 years ago, my best friend, Trey Stafford, you got to meet him. He's unbelievable. He's our COO. He runs all of our systems, our technology, and everything. And we sat down and we're like, dude, not only do we see problems as far as like customer service and whatnot, that we can really make ourselves the best when it comes to installs and roofing and everything, but the industry as far as roofing sucks. That's why I'm wearing my hat right now, make roofing great again. Like a lot of sales reps are mistreated. A lot of sales reps aren't paid, just like myself. I went through that journey. And so we started building the perfect platform that attracts people. And what we do focus on is education. We've got a full platform full of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of like videos that teach roofing inside and out. Leadership, we're huge on leadership. We just brought 17 of our top sales reps to Tony Robbins, UPW. That was freaking awesome. And just like really put people in a place to win. And so we've been attracting like big organizations after big organization and just putting them in our culture and our family and just having a blast, dude. And so that's when we really skyrocketed, is when we were like, okay, cool. Like what can we do that's different? And how can we help people win? And that's our mentality. Like you can go build and make $1 million on Instagram, but dude, when you build a platform where someone makes $1 million a year, that's the feeling. Like that's fulfillment, dude. Money come and go, whatever. But if you know you have systems and processes and an organization with a brand in place where people can come here and create 100,000, 200,000, 500,000, $1 million, bro, that's everything there. So anyways, my 2 cents, but hope I answered that right.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. That's perfect, man. So to walk me through that journey, how long did it take to get to 6 figures in the roofing business and then 6 to 7? And what was the main things that you had to overcome? It sounds like it was systems and processes to get from 6 to 7.
Yeah, man, going from like a me thing to a team thing, dropping the ego. We also had to cut some fat. People that you start with, you're not necessarily going to end with. And I always found that pretty humorous. Like when you start with people, my mentor told me this, always like if it's your idea, own 100% of the LLC, give individuals the opportunity to come in and have like revenue profitability to where like however they perform and whatnot, it's just based off revenue to really protect yourself. Like I'm one of those guys, dude, I love everything. Like I eat, breathe, sleep. Like I'm always thinking about the company because I love, this is my baby. And so we had some growing issues with relationships and people, just really breaking through that gap. So being mindful of who you start with and how you position yourself is extremely powerful. Number 2 is like the thing where we really kicked off is knowing that like my sales reps ask me this all the time. They're like, how do I get rich? I'm like, you get rich, you go knock doors. This is how you do it. Like, how do I get wealthy? There's 2 ways to really get wealthy within my industry of home improvement services. Number 1 is build a team of individuals and sow into them and help create their success. Like, what does a Jim Rohn say? Give people or individuals whatever they want. In return, you can have whatever you want, the life that you want to live. So always focus on self-driven, selfless leadership. And then number 2 is relationships. Like finding that, dude, there's so many property management firms, they need roofing. There's so many like our biggest thing is we hold the contracts for solar companies within Texas and other states that we service. We hold the contract for one of the largest solar companies in the United States. So what happens when someone goes to get solar and the roof is not well? Guess who does it? We do it. So just finding these creative ways to think like, how can I succeed within industries? It's build people, build relationships, and treat those relationships differently. I just sent a bottle of whiskey to one of our top guys that manages an account for a solar company. We treat people differently. And so to answer your question, when I stopped thinking about what's in it for me and rather focus on what's in it for the company and the people that work here and always focus on helping them succeed, that's when we started going from, $1 million in revenue to 5 million in revenue to 10 million in revenue and just keep climbing up that ladder. And so those are just kind of my 2 cents, is never focus on what's in it for you. Always focus on like, what can we do for these guys? Like every single week, all my top guys, even the other guys, like I have a leadership conversation with them. And we always go over the John Maxwell 5 levels of leadership. And we understand, hey, where are you at right now? Where do you see me as your leader? Am I just kind of stuck and you just feel like you're just in a position to work here? You're just here? Or do you feel like, hey, like I've helped you become a production-oriented person? Or if I put you in a place to where now you're a people development, you're now building a team and whatnot. So we're always just finding ways to just sow into our organization to where like, honestly, dude, if this thing was out the window tomorrow, something happened to me, something happened to Cool Roos, God forbid, I know these guys can go out and just pick this up anywhere else and absolutely crush it. So that's kind of, in a nutshell, build people.
I love it, man. Talk to me about mentorship and coaching, because I feel like that's something that you really, spend a lot of time and probably a lot of money into.
Yeah, I mean, dude, coaching is a simplistic term. My John Maxwell coach taught me this, and I loved it. Is you see these people go to like Tony Robbins, and the first thing they want to do is come back and try and like throw it all on someone, or they buy these courses, and in these courses they're just saying you need to do this, 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 and this. Like that's not coaching. Like the best part of coaching I learned is mentorship is creating a safe place to ask proper questions for the individual that you're coaching to derive the answers that they're coming up with. And then those answers is what brings the reality of what's going on. So it's just a simple way of leadership, like asking like, okay, cool. Like, what are we getting out of this week? Like tell me about your week. What have you been doing? All right, cool. What are some struggle points? What are some things that we can work on? Like, those are very simplistic questions, but just really holding that space where people can just think for themselves and bring up the right answers to understand if they're off track, on track, what do they need to do? And so I'm just a simplistic coach. Like I really just like to bring simplicity to it. My guys know they can come to me with anything, and then we just work backwards and find solutions to move forward. So, but the power.
What about you as a student? What about you as a student? You mentioned you have a John Maxwell coach. What other coaches and mentors do you currently still have in your life?
Yeah, so I mean, we have the John Maxwell coach. One of the guys I love this dude to death, Sam Taggart. He's one of the greatest door knocking coaches out there. I'm a part of his mastermind group, so I go to all of his events, go to all of his seminars. Door-to-door cons coming up, going to be going out to that. Basically, we have a sales rank chart within our company. So like based on revenue, you hit these different ranks. And so every single rank has like Tony Robbins was hitting gold. And then so all of our guys are incentivized to work hard. Then they receive like a trip out to Sam Taggart's Business Mastery, different stuff like that. So I do the coaching, not just for myself, but for the team as well. And so, and I'm real big, dude. I like I said, I love Jim Rohn. I listen to him all the time. I love Bob Proctor. There's a picture up there of me and Bob together. RIP, one of the greatest guys. I actually went to that event with Cody Barton. It was phenomenal. Man, just always showing in, writing my goals every single day, writing gratitude, reflecting on the things that are working, not working, what I need to accomplish today. And so I just think it's very powerful, man. I thought it was crazy when someone was like, do you need to invest in this John Maxwell coach? And so I wrote this big check and I'm like, I don't even know if this thing's going to work. But dude, it's literally changed our whole entire organization. Like, it's just so freaking cool to see, like when you really put yourself in a position to just learn and be a student and then just regurgitate. What does Morton say? Morton says like the mirror effect. So he talks about, and Tony Robbins talks about it too. So like number one, it's like the mirror. Find somebody who has what you want, does what you want to do, and you just do what they do, say what they say, get what they get. And then after that, you just do complete immersion. Like you just go all in with the information and then you apply the knowledge. As Tony always says, he's like, knowledge is not power. Applied knowledge is power with overall full immersion. And so, yeah, man, just consistency. I love personal development. I think it's phenomenal. But the only thing I'll say is sometimes I see when our guys get into personal development, they kind of get in a weak mindset of being like, man, like, but I'm only right here, when like all this personal, like it's just a gap. And I'm like, no, just take a little bit every day. And then what you learn, just start implementing it to like the most simplistic conversations. Start looking at things differently. Like start trying to just apply it every day to become better and not have this like gap mentality. So I don't know if you understand that, but I've just seen it recently. It's like, hey man, just take a little every day and just grow from it. Just become 1% better every day. Becoming is better than being is what I like to tell my guys.
Coming is better than being. Everyone listening, write that one down. Save that one. That's amazing. All right, dude, we're gonna have a little fun right here. Colt, you're talking to your sales team. This is a rookie who's never knocked a door. What is kind of like the script that you have for people who are knocking doors these days?
Oh, I love it, dude. The first thing I do, what I used to do is I got like, like beans. This is crazy, like lima beans or something. I hate knocking doors, dude. Like I hated it so much. So I would actually go get 40 beans and put it in my pocket. And then I'd knock on a door. And if they answer and I had a conversation, good or bad, I would then take the bean and put it in the other pocket. And I wouldn't stop the day until all beans were in the other pocket. It was the bean boy. It was wild. Dude, the first thing I say is number one, just go have fun with it. Like our San Antonio team, Joseph Valverde, they're unbelievable. They like throw the football on the street. They're all having fun and everything. But when they knock doors, their biggest thing is like, hey, and also this is a new thing that we're doing now. We break patterns. So like our big thing when we knock a door is we're just like, hey, we're in the area. I know, hey, you see me? This being said, I just have a question for you. When someone like me comes up to your door, what is the one thing that agitates you the most? And they're like, wait, excuse me? Like, yeah, what's the one thing that agitates you the most? It breaks their pattern. And they start talking about, well, I don't really like this. I don't like this. But okay, cool. Like, tell me a little bit more about that. What was your last experience? They start telling about the experience. All right, now they're talking. Now they're in control. And then it breaks that bridge to be like, okay, well, cool. Look, here's the deal. I understand your experience. I know not everyone's the same. With that being said, look, I'm here. I know I'm doing a survey. And I just got really good clarity on the things that you don't like. So now I want to go and provide the things that interest you. I'm going to grab my ladder and I'm going to do a no complimentary inspection to see if you qualify for a homeowners protection program. They're like, whoa. And so we realized recently after going to Tony Robbins, because all he does is break patterns. It's been working so freaking well. Just having that opening conversation of like a survey to better understand like what is it that they don't like about door knockers like ourselves, and then being able to provide what it is that they like. So that's been super cool.
Good. I like that a lot. Do you guys ever do the social media where you kind of like have the camera and your guys like record themselves while they door knock?
No, I haven't, dude. I've seen that though, and Sam Taggart posts a lot about that stuff. That stuff is, yeah, we've got these things right now, especially our solar company we have. They're called like permit poachers. It's like, I don't know if you've heard of that, but it's where these organizations are going and like pulling the public record permits, and then they'll go and like try and steal your deal. And I've seen people videoing them, and it's hilarious. So not cool, dude. Not cool.
I was going to say, that doesn't sound cool.
No integrity there whatsoever. It drives me crazy. Like, we'll get calls like from the homeowner, hey, this guy just stopped by. We're like, we have to like warn now. It's crazy. But anyways, that's a different conversation.
That's wild. All right. I'm just curious as a homeowner and a lot of people who are listening are, in real estate. So from my understanding, I thought roofing people didn't like solar. And I thought, if you move or whatever to replace the roof is a pain in the ass. And then especially if it has solar on it, and then it costs so much more money. So walk me through that misconception that I have that, roofing and solar, and is solar actually like as legit as some people say? So I'm curious, Colt, just to hear your thoughts on this.
Yeah, dude, I love that you asked that. I'm very open to it. Look, solar is phenomenal if you're the perfect candidate. That's all I'll say. Like roofing, everybody has a roof. You're gonna need a roof. You're gonna have a problem with the roof. You're going to need quality install, whatever. But when it comes to solar, you have to take a step back and really run the numbers to see like, am I really making an impact financially for this individual? For me, like I think it's good for the overall environment. The guy who runs our solar company, I brought him over from a huge company. He's super passionate about solar. So that it just excites me in seeing the passion about people and what it is that they love when they do their job every day, because that's the most important factor of life is doing what you love. So the cool thing that we realize, insurance is getting extremely expensive for roofs. So deductibles are getting crazy. Premiums are getting nuts. Different policies are being written that the homeowner actually feels as if they are protected. But overall, it's just not a good policy. A storm happens, they're like, wow, I thought I had an RCV policy, which means I'm fully covered. But now I find out I have like a $9,000 deductible. And once I pay that, I'm really only getting like $4,000 from the insurance. So it puts people in a bind. So what we've learned through the financing of solar, one of the benefits that we like to do is we call it creative financing, where we actually find these individuals so commonly all the time now. It's like one of our largest sectors of growing with the business. And we say, look, here's the deal. We understand that you have a $9,000 deductible. You're only getting like, say, $5,000 from the insurance. But then we also know, especially in San Antonio, you've got like a $500 electric bill. So what we do in this instance is we minimize the electric bill, replacing it. Now we have a finance bill where we're tying both the roof and the solar together to where now they're able to be in a financial position to get a new roof rather than having to pay all this money. They're now insured, because if you don't do the roof, then you can lose your insurance. And so that's kind of like I try to explain that so quick. I might need a whiteboard, but that's we just found as a solution. So yeah, dude, there's some people who love solar. There's some people who hate solar, but for us, we see it as an initiative to be like, look, we're here to save money in this crazy economy and put you in a place to understand your needs, bringing that solution. Now we've mitigated your bill. You have a fixed rate now rather than going up, up, up. No longer a $500 bill, maybe like a $300 finance bill, and you got your roof saw and you're insured. So like that's the creative finance play that we like to do. And then plus it's cool for our reps because now they make money on solar and they make money on roofing. It's phenomenal. the 2-tier system.
The combo makes sense. And I'm surprised I don't know more people that have companies that are both roofing and solar. Is this pretty unique, or are there a lot out there?
I think it's pretty unique because I love it. Like, dude, we didn't do solar for quite a while, but then once I saw this way as a play, we were like, oh, this makes perfect sense. So I don't know. We're not too public about this play because, it's great, but I just don't know if most people have ever really thought of it.
Yeah, it seems like you created a company that's, vertically integrated with what you're already doing, which makes so much sense. The question I want to ask you, though, is, when would you suggest someone look at adding another company? Because we talked about it, right? Just focus on one. When would you, now looking, forward or from what your experience, be like, all right, you're at a spot now where it does make sense to maybe look at adding another business?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. I mean, for us, anything that we like to do, we like to make sure that everything is just super smooth. Everyone knows their part, their role, the systems are in place, and we just have a smooth sailing machine. But also cash flow is everything. So understanding your proper cash flow and whatnot to you don't want to have a big buffet and you just smack everything on your plate and you can't eat it all. That's not right. So we take it one little compartment at a time. And our biggest thing is I wanted to bring in the proper personnel and using their insight and using their professionalism and using their time within the industry to grow it. And so in 2015 or 16, someone knocked on my door, set a solar appointment. This guy came over and he was just phenomenal. One of the best salesmen, super educational, sold me solar. I was like, what a cool experience. Well, now that guy works for me. I said, look, you closed me then, but I closed you now. So he runs our whole solar department and he knows, dude, he is so smart. And so when I saw this, I was like, all right, this is perfect. We're not recreating a wheel. I'm not having to go in here and learn all this stuff. We've got someone who's just super intelligent. He's been doing this for, 12 years when solar wasn't even cool. And now it's awesome because he leads this huge education for all of our sales reps saying hey, if you ever need solar, just throw it up as an alley-oop. So he runs the whole creative finance play. So to answer your question is when we develop business, I like finding the right people that then run the business. Like my dad always says, I don't bet on the horse, I bet on the jockey. With that being said, I love cool roofs, but I'll bet on me any day. I love cool solar, I'll bet on Jonathan any day of the week. So having that proper leadership to run it. So those are the things. Even when we got him, I was like, hey, let's just kind of what does this look like? What is the play? What are we going to focus on? What is going to be the thing that we're going to do? And that's how we started rocking and rolling it. So, I just tell people to be very mindful and understanding, if you have the bandwidth, we're about to purchase a company here shortly, and it's going to be a fuel for what we do. But we've been wanting to do this for 3 years now, but now it's the right timing because the right situation presented itself. And so I think that's a big thing, man. When I write my goals out, I understand I want things now, but being patient and staying consistent with what you're doing, the right opportunity will present itself and you'll be prepared for it. So don't rush anything. We've rushed some stuff before and it just, kind of gets egg on your face. But I tell people just be patient, take it slow, be mindful, and search your mentorship to really understand, is this the right opportunity? If you got great accountants, ask them, understand your cash flow, and then make that decision. But when you do it, don't be motivated about it. Like I talk about, get committed, go all in, and just really start building it. Just don't half-ass new things. You know what I mean?
We love people who call their shots on this show. So we're going to have you call your shot, man. 12 months from now, at the end of 2025, where are you at? And then 5 years from now, where are you at?
Dude, I love it. So Hudson is someone we attracted into our company. He did 30 million in sales the year before he came over. One of the best commercial developers. He's unbelievable. You can see him all on our Instagram and whatnot. I can get emotional about talking about that guy. He is just a freaking boss. And I know for sure in his goal book, he writes down every single day that cool roofs in the next 5 years will do $582,350,000. $582,350,000. I know his goals. We talk about it all the time. So that's my goal. In 5 years, we would love to be a company that has $582,350,000. Now, that's a massive goal. I mean, I know this time next year we'll be at the 55, 65 million mark, which is phenomenal. So then we're going to have to really start pushing that. But I think it's possible with some of the things that we're doing, what we're putting in place. But for me, my overall thing, like revenue only reflects the impact that you're having on society, and really showing like, hey, like most people are all excited, like, oh, I do this much. It's like, wow, we help that much. Like that's incredible. And so for us being in that position, we know that we're impacting a lot of people by bringing them a good quality service they can trust. Like most roofers, they have a tail light warranty. They leave, all you see is the taillights. You never see them again. But for us, we want to build within our communities and really create something super, super special. And so, man, my biggest thing is like 5 years from now, the people that I work with and the people that I love and the people who are going to come and continue to work with us, I just want to make sure, like, dude, spiritually, they're great. Physically, they're awesome. Mentally, they're growing. And we just really have an awesome workplace. Like my vision, 2 years, we're going to have this huge office with a basketball court, pickleball court, sauna, cold plunge, hyperbaric chamber, gym. Like that's the real thing. Like I just want to affect all areas of life to help people, especially those who work with us. So that's my overall goal for this thing, man. Just create an environment and a culture where people are thriving and just having a blast. And we just happen to sell roofs.
That's beautiful, man. There's going to be people, maybe not like directly listening to the podcast, but there's going to be people that listen to the podcast and then be like, man, I got a friend who was just talking about, getting into door-to-door sales, or this would be a great opportunity, especially just listening to you. I can just tell you're a servant leader. You're someone who actually just loves this stuff. And, leadership is something that is definitely a skill set that you have, but also just seems, naturally, innate in you that you just want to serve other people and give back and help out. So how do people connect with you? How do people find you?
Do you have people on here who usually have all this brand and stuff? I'm simple, dude. I just have an Instagram at Colt Moncla. We do have a YouTube channel at Cool Roofs, and you can meet a lot of our guys on there. We actually, I've never done a podcast like this, but we have a podcast studio, and I just ask our guys questions and learn about them and their life and how they got in the industry, how it's changed their life. So you can watch a lot of cool movements of what we're doing there. But yeah, just at Colt Moncla. I post a lot about me and my fiance. So traveling, not really like a lot of motivating stuff, but yeah, follow me if you ever need anything. Just connect with me, and I'd love to just spend time with you and answer any questions you may have.
Absolutely. Traveling, that's something that I love to do. So just give me a quick top 3 countries that come to your mind that you're like, man, people got to go check out.
Oh, 100%, dude. Number one's Vietnam.
Ooh, I've not been over there yet. I've not been to any part of, I need to go.
It's phenomenal. Me and my 2 brothers and Hudson, who I was talking about, we flew over there, and a couple of my buddies from Australia, and we did the Haijing Loop? I already forgot, but yeah, we're like 4 days on dirt bikes out in the middle of freaking nowhere. Like it was just gorgeous. Went down to Ha Long Bay where they filmed King Kong. Like the people are amazing. The food's amazing. The views are amazing. It's phenomenal. My number 2 is I'm actually getting married in September in Lake Como. And so Italy is beautiful, north to south, all around. Just, again, food's amazing. People are great. I love it. And then my favorite place in the world, which Cody knows this, I go twice a year, is Costa Rica. I think Costa Rica is the most beautiful place in the world with the most beautiful, like kind-hearted, just unbelievable people. I was actually there yesterday. So, yeah, Costa Rica is phenomenal, dude. So those are my 3. What about yourself? Throw a nugget out there. What's the
throw it back to you? So, bro, I was supposed to go to Costa Rica. I literally was going to have my dad fly out. We got this beautiful penthouse. And then long story short, I ended up going to Rio, Brazil for a month first. And then as I was about to get on my plane, they're like, where's your vaccine? I'm like, guys, it's 2024. What vaccine are we talking about? And they say, no, it's for yellow fever. I was like, oh my gosh, the one country that you can't go from to get into Costa Rica was Brazil. So I have to go back, man. I have to reschedule.
I've never gotten that before. That's crazy.
Exactly, because it was only because there's like certain countries in Africa and then Brazil. There's the only places that you can't go from there to Costa Rica. So I'm going to have to run that back. I'm going to have to do Costa Rica, again, since I wasn't able to go. But going into my top, man. So I traveled for about 3.5 months this summer and really saw a lot of Europe. And I would say Italy is freaking amazing. I went to Portofino. It looked like a Thomas Kincaid like painting. It was amazing. Like I would say 1 to 2 days out there is like perfect. Barcelona is a good spot. Like I can see myself living out there for a few months. Everything's walkable, which I didn't know I actually like that. Like it's amazing.
Did you go to Pamplona while you're out there?
Bro, I ran with the Bulls.
I did too.
What? Okay, we got it real quick.
Yeah.
Tell me your experience. What did you do this?
Oh, it was phenomenal. I think it was 2020, or was it? I think I went before COVID. My God, I think I went 2019. Yeah.
Okay. And then did you go with a friend or like, how do you even like, I didn't even know about it. My friend's like, hey, do you want to do some crazy stuff? I'm like, not really. He's like, cool. We're going to run with the Bulls.
Yeah, so my brother just, I mean, like, my brother travels all the time. I think he's in Australia right now, and we're always just finding a way for us to go do something cool. And so we've just been checking off these places, and he's like, hey, we're going to go run with the Bulls. And like, surprisingly, like, dude, my dad is the most supportive adventure. And that was the one he was like, wait a minute. He's like, I don't know about that, but we did it, man. And
Wait, Pops came with you?
heck no, dude, he
Oh, I was
stayed,
going to say,
but he
damn,
was,
he's a real one.
I'll tell you, it's not running in the street. Like Dead Man's Corner was crazy. Like that was awesome. We ran, exhausted because you partied with everyone the night before drinking sangria. But I thought going into the stadium, what was the most insane. Like when they shut the doors and like the little bull like comes out and he's all corked up, but still like packs a punch. Dude, that was nuts. My brother got rocked, and dude, just think of it like I'll never forget when we come in. They're singing Queen, "We Will Rock You," like the whole stadium, and we're in there, and I'm like, dude, what? I thought it was done, and they're like, no, there's more Bulls coming. I'm like, y'all got to get me out of here. Like this is nuts. Did you go recently?
Yeah, I just went like 3 months ago or yeah, July, bro. Like I had
Oh,
no idea. I
no
like my,
way.
my friend was just like, we're going. I'm like, all right, whatever. So the day before is the
Oh, I got you.
sangria fight, like you're talking about. And
Yep.
then you're holding up the scarf and chanting, and we almost got like it was almost a Travis Scott concert where people are getting crushed. That might even be more terrifying. But bro, we get
Yep.
there, and as you know, there's no waivers. You literally just get in the street, and then six bulls charge. And what I didn't realize is that six more bulls, and obviously they're smaller, but I didn't know that. So I was like,
Yeah.
why is there six more running? And then, like you said, the arena, man, it was crazy. I'm so glad that you didn't know the arena thing because I had no idea until I got in there.
Dude, I just pulled this up. My buddy, this shows you this is who goes with us everywhere, but this gives you an idea of what it's like. That's my good buddy. I mean, this is the craziest festival that like just nuts. And then you run for bulls, like. But oh, dude, I'm so glad you experienced that. I haven't met many people who have. Man, it's cool to share your experience because I'll never forget that.
100%. As we wrap up, man, like I talked to so many people, and obviously a lot of them are successful in business, but I think you'll just agree and probably relate to this. At the end of the day, it's like, okay, you can have as much money as you need, but if you don't go have those memories and those experiences and also good relationships with great people, it's not very fulfilling. And I just realized like those are two things that people just always say, like they go back to, dude, I want better relationships and want memories. And that's kind of what my whole life resume, I've been saying that a lot now instead of just, talking about business and numbers.
Yeah, and I love that you do that too. I'm real big on that. And my Hudson told me this morning, I was working out and I was talking to him, and he's like, "Dude, I've realized now what you journal about, you become." And he had a unbelievable travel year this year, and we were talking about next year and everything he's doing. He's like, it's really crazy to know like these are things that I've written down in my journal, and I agree with you, man. Like I've been in great rooms of people who I get to meet and talk to. I mean, look, my biggest thing from talking to people is time. When you're with your family, when you're with your loved ones, when you're doing what you're doing, like be where your feet are and really enjoy that moment because things will solve themselves. You can solve them later. Everything works itself out, but I respect people who give it all they got and they want to have all the cars and the material and everything cool because that's how, in their sense, they may find fulfillment. But so no bashing on that. I respect it. Awesome. But the big thing, like you said, that I've learned so well is like, dude, that only lasts so long. You're gonna come to a wall one day and it's gonna be end of time and you're gonna be like, I wish I would have, you know, been more present with this person or been more present when I did this and enjoyed the moment when I did that and just all these things. So I really try to learn on that and just like that's why I travel because you experience, you meet new people, you're living And so I work to go live. I don't live to work like that. And I know a lot of friends who make a ton of money, but they're literally just living to work. And that's not for me. So I don't know if that's kind of what you're feeling. I think it is, but man, dude, if you're listening to this, like we talked about it from 17, I mean, shoot, I started 16 years old. I was selling lighters at a trade show. That's another story, but take that 18-year-old to, 25 and just freaking give it all you got. I think college is a joke. If you go to college, like I'm sorry, I'm getting into the rant here. Go to college, but just go to experience it. It's a chapter in your life you'll never get back. A lot of people preach college is dumb, blah, blah, blah. No, college is phenomenal. Like you can go have a blast. You meet amazing people. I had the time of my life. I went to Texas State. It was awesome. But I worked my butt off on knowing, like my dad was like, hey, go do your thing. So I built cool roofs while in college. So when I graduated, I was pumped up. I'm going full force on the opportunity that I love. Most people go in college, do the business school and do whatnot. But while you're there, use it as an opportunity to meet people, network. What's networking? Join organizations and then go build a business. And then if you fail at 25, you're freaking 25. Like you got so much time. So I don't know. I've got friends that have settled and it's wild, dude. The one thing I'll say, I have this, and I know I'm talking a lot, but
this is amazing, Colt. Keep going.
This is a letter that I got, and Christian Jukes knows all about this. I don't know if you know Jukes. He's awesome. He's in Scottsdale too. But I didn't get accepted into the School of Business. And 3 years after I graduated, I got asked to come speak at the Entrepreneurial School of Business. And I thought that was just the biggest. And I had so many friends that laughed and made fun of me because they knew I was a hustler and I didn't make school of business. But now, God, I don't want to say how many years that was ago, but we're getting old. I got those same friends calling me like, dude, I'm miserable. Like waking up, doing the same thing every day, yada, yada. So if you're listening to this, man, again, when I say these things, if you are committed to business school, if you are committed to being a banker or doing whatever, great. I support it. But if you're listening as an entrepreneur, go experience and make the most out of experiences and working on yourself and building something awesome and give it all you got. Don't listen to, the negatives. Always just focus on you and just follow your heart. And honestly, just follow what God has for you. And I promise you'll be successful. But be patient.
That's a mic drop right there. We want to end the episode right there, man. It's been a pleasure. It's been an honor. I'm so glad that we got connected. I know we're going to keep in touch, bro.
100%, man. Thank you, Jesse. And thank you all. I appreciate you all. And just let's keep making roofing great again. Come on.
Love it.